Okay, Tuscany Racing suspension kit. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It's a whole new bike. Wow. Yeah, handles so much better. But yeah, more about that in a little bit. So what I did for this suspension install is I got the Tuscany Racing adjustable rear shock. I got the one with 70 millimeters more of travel. So this is the highest one that they sell. And I also installed the good pressure kit for the forks. Really makes it handle a lot better. I'm gonna put some clips in the video here going over some whoops. And man, it just soaks it up. It soaks up bumps now. It's crazy. I mean, I'm going over whoops and bumps and stuff at a speed that I wouldn't have dared go over at on the stock suspension. I mean, it would have just thrown me off the bike. But with this kit, just totally transforms the bike. That front fork kit, the good pressure, wow, huge difference. Can't believe it. It's just soaks up the bumps. Going over jumps, doesn't bottom out anymore. Just feels firm, planted. Really amazing. I'm really blown away by this. I mean, what are we doing here? So yeah, forget about taking your forks off, your shock out, sending it to somebody, having them, do their magic on it, sending it back to you, reinstalling all that. And then I guess there's the Hagon rear shock out there too, but I feel like that's the same height as the stock shock. I could be wrong. But even still, I believe that's like a $600 shock, if not closer to $700. This Tuscany unit was, I think it was $350. I got it on a Black Friday sale. The front fork good pressure kit was $80. So, I mean, yeah, how are you going to beat that? Now, I did have to pay for shipping from Brazil as well. I got an exhaust and the suspension and an air filter. I think the shipping was about $80, and that's subject to change with the currency exchange rate. But yeah, if you're looking to get a new suspension on your CRF250F, give these guys a look. I think this is the way to go. Just cost-wise, I mean, how are you going to beat this? It's really amazing. Hitting bumps in the front now, it's just like, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It just kind of floats and soaks up bumps. It doesn't feel like, the stock, how they come, it just feels like you're gonna get thrown off the bike. which I've done before. Here's another look. The remote reservoir where it mounts up. So you've got a adjustment here, and then you've also got another adjustment on the rear shock at the bottom on this side. You can't see it, but so it's got two adjustments, one for compression and the other for rebound. I haven't messed with that yet. It's basically just how it came. I don't know if I'm really that good of a rider where, you know, I can get into fine-tuning the suspension, but just out of the box, it's a game changer. You know, as people say, it's a totally different bike, and it's true on this. So with the good pressure kit for the front forks, there is I don't know if it's spring loaded, but there's a cartridge that goes into the bottom of the fork, and then your spring goes on top, and then you've got a replacement shim for the top. It's shorter than the stock one. So I believe how it works is that it uses the big spring first for small bumps, and then if you get into, you know, hard landings, you know, big hits to the front end, then that's where that cartridge comes into play, because that, I don't know if it's, I believe there's a spring inside of it, and along with the oil from the forks, it's like another spring. So it turns it into a double chamber fork, essentially. And I reused the stock spring, and I reused the stock weight oil, which is a 10W in the front forks. It was a really easy install. I did it myself. I've never really dealt with bike forks before. The first side took me about an hour and a half, just because, you know, trying to figure out what was what and making sure I didn't mess anything up. By the time I came to do the second one, it literally took me like 10 minutes. It's a really easy install. The rear shock took me probably about an hour. You have to basically pull the battery box out of the way. You don't have to completely take it out, but just unbolt it so that you can move it. And same thing with the air box. Just kind of unbolt it all so you can move it around. And basically how I did it was, you know, this is all going to be off. The battery box kind of hangs out to the side here, and then you basically install and remove the old shock and install the new shock from this angle here. And yeah, it was pretty easy, but I need to extend the kickstand, so it does not reach anymore. So yeah, the bike sits about a ½ inch higher. I think maybe a little more than a ½ inch higher than stock. And it's taken some getting used to. You know, I have to like really swing my leg over, you know, to get on the bike now. And I can just barely, not just barely, but when I'm sitting on it now, I can only put my toes down. I can't get flat-footed like I was before. So it's a little bit of an adjustment to kind of relearn how to ride this, and You know, if I'm starting to go down, I know I can't always rely on getting my foot all the way down, so yeah, it's taking a little getting used to, but I love it. I like the higher seat height, more ground clearance. I mean, I feel like this is how the bike should have come from the factory. You know, it's nice, I guess, with the low seat height initially, just to get people on the bikes and get comfortable with them. But yeah, it feels like my old DRZ 400, as you know, in terms of height and how it sits. My old DRZ, that's pretty much how it was as well. I could just get my toes down. And at the time, I really wasn't comfortable with that. You know, I was pretty new to riding, and anytime I would, you know, start tipping over with the bike, I'd basically have to jump off of it and let the bike go. But I've been riding this thing. I've had it for almost a year now. I think I bought it January 20th, 2022. Right now it's December 31st, 2022. So yeah, I've ridden it for a year stock, and I'm a lot more comfortable just riding in general. You know, my skill level's gone up quite a bit. You know, before with the bigger bikes, I was really pretty sketched out by not being able to put my feet down all the way. But now I'm a lot comfortable just with riding and the bike in general. So yeah, I really like the way it sits now. So yeah, that'll do it for this edition of rambling about my CRF250F. Like I said, if you're gonna get a suspension for this, check out Tuscany Racing. I'll put links below in the description so you can check them out. All right, and just as a reference of where the ride height's at, it's like right at it's right about 12.75. All right, peace.